All right, everybody, as promised, it's ORBIN time. Yes, this is the extent of my Photoshop abilities. Let's get to, as Kyle would say, the meat and potatoes. This deals with Kyle Adams' interest in the black orbs seen while filming total solar eclipses from airplanes. I've talked about this before in another video, but I'd like to show you some of his argumentation, some of the things he either believes in or at least lends weight to. So I compared two different videos of the same total solar eclipse from the 20th of March 2015 from flight Air Berlin 1000. These are two different videos of the same eclipse. They are taken from different locations on the plane. Based on the appearance of the wing and the jet engine, I'm pretty sure that this video here was taken closer to the wing, and this video here was taken from a few rows further up in the plane. I did my best to find screen captures from both videos of approximately the same point in time. So for example here, based on the illumination of the clouds, I'm pretty sure that these two screen captures are like within just a couple seconds of each other. Now, this still is from a few rows up in the plane, and this still is from a few rows back in the plane. And you can see the vastly different orientation of these orbs. There's three orbs visible here, and they have a sort of a C pattern or a very shallow greater than symbol. If we look at this still, you can actually see four orbs, and these three are a greater than symbol. The different configuration and number of orbs leads me to believe that they really are simply an artifact of filming an eclipse through the multi-paned airplane window. Now, Kyle and I have a bit of common ground in that if these were reflections in the window glass, they should be visible throughout the entire video, not just during the eclipse. That's what Kyle wrote as our common ground, and I added here, and Jeff shows that some of them are visible, not just during the eclipse. When you look at this series of stills, I have circled here and here, here and here, 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 here. Again, 1, 2, 3, and you can start to see, I think that's one over there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and maybe that's the third one there. So yeah, and these are not taken these are not all taken during totality. These, at least these two, are taken outside of totality. This one is taken perhaps just on the cusp of totality. But I say, they are still visible, so long as they're not drowned out by the bright sun. It should also be pointed out that these orbs, they have the illumination of the eclipsed sun. So for example, when we look at this time lapse, again, this is from the Air Berlin flight. We watch this time lapse. Here we go. Okay. So you can see the illumination of the orbs is essentially recreating what the eclipsed sun looks like. They're like, if I go to as the totality ends, see, as totality ends, their right side is highly illuminated. And as totality is beginning, their left side is highly illuminated. And you'll see the same thing in this video. Their left side is illuminated as totality begins. We go through totality. And as totality ends, we see their right side illuminating highly. Now, so what does Kyle say about these? Let's see, nothing useful there. Nothing useful there. I point out to him that if this is the airplane, we have camera 1 a few rows ahead of camera 2. At one point, they are right here. Camera 1 sees 3 orbs above the sun, and camera 2 sees 3 orbs below the sun. And just a few seconds later, camera 2 is now looking at it from where camera 1 was just a moment ago. But camera 2 doesn't now have a different orientation of those orbs. So the orientation of the orbs cannot simply be due to where the camera is in relation to the sun itself. Because otherwise we would expect to see these two cameras having vastly changing orientations of the orbs throughout the flight. You'll notice that in those videos I showed, the cameras are being held very still. There's very little movement of the camera within the airplane itself. Now, a different example, a flight where the camera is moving a lot, is this Alaska Airlines flight. I'm going to just run this at double speed. You can see the man holding the camera is not holding the camera still at all. Watch all these movements. See? Look at these orbs shaking and flying around. Now, when I mentioned this to Kyle, I'll show you in a moment, Kyle brought up the possibility of Foo Fighters. Kyle is highly skeptical that these black orbs could simply be camera and refraction artifacts. So yeah, I don't think anybody watching this video, seeing the camera jostle around like this, would have no reasonable person would think that these are, look, they even go out of focus. They go out of focus when the sun goes out of focus. Yeah, that's where Kyle is. Kyle is really interested in these orbs and hopes desperately that they are something other than internal reflections or the result of refraction through a window. Because, man, if that's the case, then he's lost a possible explanation for a solar eclipse. And that's a real shame for him. Here, it's kind of a miracle that we can see the orbs at all. Perhaps there are more up there that we just can't see. Have you ever heard of a Foo Fighter? And then he finally backs off a little bit. I say it seems much more likely to me that these black orbs, which look like the eclipsed sun and which move around as the camera moves relative to the window, are simply refractive artifacts. And he admits it is possible. He says you don't see all the orbs darting around, and I would like to get clarification from him, because in this video, the ones that are further from the sun are darting around the most, and the ones that are closest to the sun are moving around the least. And again, that is what we would expect. Oh, and look at that. Their illumination matches the illumination of the sun as it comes out of eclipse. I haven't done strict analysis on this, but I would be willing to bet that the angular movement here is pretty close to the angular movement here. It's simply that because they're further out from the sun, when they move 2 degrees, they're moving more more actual lateral space than when these move 2 degrees. Just like when you have a record, or a record. You know, when you're spinning a CD or something, the outside and the inside, they're going the same angle in the same amount of time, but the outside of the CD or the record has to travel further, even though it's only, it's going 90 degrees, but it's actually moving further than the interior, which is also moving 90 degrees and moving much less space. So yeah, that's the saga of the orbs. It's Orbin time with Kyle Adams. Who knows what we'll learn tomorrow about the orbs. Anyway, thank you for watching. This has been Night Sky Jeff, and remember, keep looking up.